Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the Made by Mumino knitting podcast. My name is Catherine and I'm coming to you today from Mönchengladbach, which is over in the western part of Germany, kind of between Dusseldorf and the Dutch border. And I live here with my partner and lots of houseplants and lots of yarn. So welcome to you if you're new here, and welcome back if you're a returning viewer. Thank you very much for coming back again. Today we're going to be talking about yarn, knitting projects, test knits, but I'm also going to be doing a giftaway today. So if you are not interested in any of the topics, I always put chapters in, so feel free to skip through the chapters. And also anything I talk about today is linked down below in the show notes. But if I've missed anything, just let me know, give me a shout. Okay, let's have some tea. How cute is this mug? I picked this up at Wonderwall. When was that? Oh, more than a month ago now, I think, when I went there with my mum in Wales. So Wonderwall is a wool festival in Wales that's held once a year, and it was the first time I'd been and it was really good fun. But I picked up a nice souvenir and lots of yarn. I think I talked about it in episode 6, so if you're interested, go and check that out. Right, so what am I wearing today? Which in fact I might take off. I was cold earlier, but I'm not now. So this is my Traveller's cardigan by Ozetta. And my version is made in unspun yarn, but German unspun yarn from a company called Soil Yarn. When I bought it, the company was called something different, but it's still the same product. And they're a really interesting little company. So they only make 2 different types of yarn as far as I believe, both of which are unspun. One is this lovely dark grey and one is a lighter grey. So I did write it down what colour it was. Yeah, this one's called Stormy Night, and like I said, I've linked all the details down below. I knit this a good couple of years ago now, and it could do with a debobble, I think, but it's a really lovely, dense, warm fabric, hence feeling a little bit. So yeah, this might be coming off in a minute, it's a bit warm. So I knit this to pattern, didn't make any adjustments or anything, and my Ravelry page is linked below as well if you want any of the notes. Yeah, this is a really nice cardigan. I think I'll probably make another one. I love this drop shoulder construction. It's just very easy to wear, and also I don't know if you find the same thing with a raglan cardigan. It often slips off my shoulders. I don't know if I've just got really round shoulders or what, but this just sits really, really nicely. I'm a big fan of Ozetta's patterns. She makes really classic, easy to wear designs that just seem to fit very nicely. The only thing I'm not a fan of is often the jumpers are bottom up, which means for my size you have to do a fairly sizable long tail cast on, which if you're not focusing, it's pretty easy to twist, if you're me anyway. But no, I love this pattern. This is definitely something that I don't think I'd knit another one in the same yarn, but I think I would probably knit another one, maybe in some John Arbon worsted weight. That would be really nice. But yeah, this is a nice neutral cardigan. If I haven't already done so, I'll put a picture up here for you. In fact, I think I'm wearing the exact same dress in the picture I put up. I don't have a lot of clothes. I try to reuse what I've got as much as possible. A lot of clothes? I don't have many clothes. That's better, isn't it? So I tend to wear a lot of linen and cotton and denim, things like that I just wear over and over and over again. So yeah, I'm often wearing the same clothes in different pictures. But this is a nice plain linen dress from Sea Salt which is just a normal clothing store in the UK, but I'll put a link for that below as well. Okay, so that's what I'm wearing. Next, I want to talk about finished objects. So we'll get the kind of more boring finished object out of the way first. and that is my handbag project, socks. There's another one hiding behind here. These are a gift knit for a friend and they will be tucked away, ready for when they're needed. And they are just a top-down sock. And I've done a 2x2 rib all the way down, heel flap and gussets, and just a nice rounded toe with a Kitchener at the end. These actually haven't been blocked yet. I only have one sock blocker for this size because this is a 46-47, but I don't really knit this size very often, so I thought I'd just get one sock blocker and block them one at a time while I was knitting the other sock, but I was a bit lazy this time and kind of forgot to do it, but never mind. But yeah, these are made in Lana Grossa. I can't remember what the colourway is, I'll write it down here. And it's just a nice simple self-striping yarn. And I've done the contrast heel and toe and cuff in John Arbon Exmoor sock, which works really nicely. So yeah, I tend to sort of keep all of my ends. In fact, I think you can see it up here. I keep a jar of sock yarn up there, and when I'm doing any heels or toes or anything like that, I can just pick out what I need from my leftover scrappy jar up there. So that's exclusively for leftover little bits of sock yarn, but I suppose I could put them in a blanket or something. Oh, by the way, thank you for so many suggestions about what blanket to do with all of my minis. I really appreciate that. I still haven't decided on a pattern. I've got too many other projects on the go at the moment, but I will come back to it in the next couple of months when things settle down a little bit. So yes, first finished object, socks. Now, I kind of use a pattern. I don't use a pattern for these. It's my own recipe, but I always put a particular pattern by Kristin Lehrer. I link that because it's the closest to what I do. Excuse me. But this is kind of my own thing that I've developed over the last few years. So what I was thinking was I might just write up a quick recipe for what I do and post it on like Ravelry or something for free to download. If you'd be interested in my little sock recipe for doing ribbed socks, let me know down in the comments and I might do something over the summer when I've got a bit more free time, if that's something that would interest you. So yeah, these are a 72 stitch cast on, and yeah, it is what it is. So that's my first finished object, which is better than last week because I didn't have any last episode, because I don't think I had any finished objects in the last episode. But yeah, we've got 2 today. The second one, I'm so happy with this. And if you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen me. Oh, incidentally, you can find me on Instagram as Mumino, on Ravelry as Mumino, and I now have an email address as well, made by Mumino. So if you want to email me, you can. But yes, if you have seen me on Instagram, if you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen this. And this is a finished test knit. Oh, it's so beautiful. Probably can't hear me behind that. It's just so gorgeous. I am in love with this pattern. It was such a pleasure to knit. I had so much fun up until here, and then it was just getting through it. Because I think I'm more of a process knitter than a product knitter. Although I do flip between the two, I think, a bit, depending on what I'm knitting. But I love doing colour work. I really enjoy doing colour work. And that kind of level of concentration, I think I talked about it in my previous episode. I just find it very meditative and just really enjoyable to have something that I have to focus all of my attention on. I really enjoy that. But anyway, this is a finished test knit for Elenor Mortensen, and it is the Art Nouveau sweater. Now, I believe that the deadline for the test knit is this Wednesday, and the pattern is going to be released at the end of June, I believe. So keep an eye on Elenor Mortensen's Instagram so you can see when it's going to be released. This was an absolute pleasure to knit. Really enjoyed this. So it's the original sample by Elenor Mortensen was made with a linen mix, and it's very much a light, airy, cottony feel. It's not cotton, it's linen, but summer tea. And most of the testers went down the same route. But I kind of wanted to make something that was a bit more rustic, because most of the skirts and things that I wear in the summer, they're very patterned, and I didn't really want to wear patterned with patterned. But this goes really nicely with lots of things I wear in the winter. So I went with, what did I go with? Woolly knit. Woolly knit British 4-ply cones. And this main colour is cinnamon brown. And I held it double throughout. And the contrast colour, I actually used 2 different contrast colours. You can't really see it, it's very, very subtle. But here I was holding a colour called Oatmeal together, double. And then I was holding Oatmeal with Smoke, which is a lighter grey colour. And then there I was holding Smoke by itself. So a very, very subtle colour change, partly because I wasn't sure I would have enough of the oatmeal. It was left over from another cardigan that I made. So I wasn't sure if I'd have enough, so I sort of planned on mixing in a couple of colours. Do I have some here? Yeah, I do. So this is the woolly knit yarn. And as you can see, it is very thin. It's sold as a 4-ply, and technically I suppose it is a 4-ply, but it is thin. If you've used Holst Super Soft before, it's a little bit like that in weight, but not texture. It's not quite as dry as that. So holding it double, in my opinion, I get sort of gauged for like sport weight kind of yarn. It's not really a full DK. But that works really, really well for multiple projects, and works really well. This is fantastic for colour work. I've used this for colour work a lot, and I do recommend it. So it's sold in 200-gram hanks or 500-gram cones. I believe they've actually got DK cones now as well. But I bought a lot of cones a few years ago in many, many different colours because they had a really good deal on. So I'm just working my way through all of that at the moment. So that's why you see woolly knit a lot in my finished objects or my projects. In fact, you're going to see some more in a bit as well. So yeah, this is knit on 3.75 needles. I'll write down there what that, I'll write down there what that is in American size because I'm not 100% sure on the American sizes, US sizes, sorry. And I knit exactly to the pattern. I'm really happy with it. I think the only thing, I'm holding up the sleeve now because the only thing I think I would change is I'm quite short in the arm, and I think I would do the decreases a bit more quickly so that I could make the arm slightly shorter. But as you will have seen, I think will have already put some footage of me wearing it up here. It comes out as just a really nice cozy jumper that's easy to wear, and yeah, it's gorgeous. I'm so happy with it. It's really, really lovely. I also posted on Instagram a pic of my floats. I showed them in the last episode as well. Do you want to see my floats? Might as well while we're here. There we go. Floats. I need to put a label in this because it's not 100% obvious which is the back and which is the front. So yeah. Gorgeous colour work yoke sweater will be out soon. Oh, you can see the colour change a bit more there, where it goes from the kind of beigey colour into the greyish colour. Yeah. So, first finished object, or no, second finished object, and final finished object. Okay, let's move on to works in progress. I've got several WIPs on the go at the moment. The first of which is another test knit. This one is for Max the Knitter, otherwise known as Maxim Cyr. I'll put a picture of the finished, what the finished object will look like up here. I haven't done a lot of work on this since you last saw it. If you saw my last episode, you'll see that as I was holding this up, there was a mistake in the pattern, in my knitting, sorry, not in the pattern. And the stitches were out were off on the texture. So the only thing I've done to this is rip it back to correct the mistake. But I also took the opportunity to rip it back a little bit further. So I ripped it back to just before I split for the sleeves, because when my partner tried it on, he said that he could do with a little bit more ease underneath the arms. So I added in a couple of stitches on either side of the spine going down. I'll show you now. So this is the pattern, this is the cardigan. Yeah, what I'd done in the last episode, I'd noticed, is where you've got this kind of textured stitch, I'd repeated one of the rows so it looked like there was a stripe across it, and I didn't notice until I'd held it up. I was knitting it in the car when we were driving to Brussels, and I must have just accidentally done the same row twice. So what I did, so as you can see, there's this gorgeous raglan detail where you get this kind of seam going down here, but then it continues underneath the arm there. So what I did, get rid of the barber cord there, I ripped back to here and I just added in some extra stitches on either side of there, just to give him a bit more ease. Now, when I ripped this back, I'd pretty much done the same as this last time, maybe a little bit less, but it took me less than a couple of hours to rip it back and then knit it back again. This is made on 5mm, which is a US 8 size needles. And for me, this is a gauge that just kind of knits itself. So I'm going to be working on that quite a lot over the next couple of weeks to get it finished for the deadline. But yeah, I'm really happy with that. My partner's happy with the fit so far. I think what I might do, what I quite like to do when I'm making jumpers is when I've done a little bit of the body, I do one of the sleeves. It feels less arduous if the sleeves are already done, or at least partly done, and then I finish the body. So I think that I might do that. Also, I think it's better to get the length fit correct when the sleeves are already done, because it tends to shift the yoke and things around when you're fitting it. When the sleeves are on, it sort of sits differently. So yeah, this has got a lovely ribbed folded collar. Beautiful raglan details, and all over texture, and it's just a nice easy-ish, or not that easy obviously because I made a mistake, easy-ish knit. And for this I'm using West Yorkshire Spinners Croft Aran, and I believe the colour is, what colour am I doing this? Seafield, which is 339. It's just a really cheerful sort of turquoisey type colour that my partner chose. He loves his bright colours. I don't know, is that a bright colour? I don't know. But he does enjoy a bit of colour in his life, which is nice. Because I tend to go for the more earthy colours or the more neutral colours. So between the two of us, I get lots of nice, interesting things to knit. So happy days. Okay. Next up, we have another test knit. So this one, excuse me, I'm going to rustle. I've got a paper pattern here. Let's take that out. This one is a test knit for Melanie Berg, and she makes beautiful patterns. They're absolutely stunning. And I saw this task call go up and I immediately applied for it because I knew exactly what yarn I was going to use for it. And I was really excited. Yeah, it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The pattern is not potato chippy yet. I cast it on yesterday and did a couple of the sections just to get my eye in, and it's definitely not potato chippy yet. It might become so, we shall see. But right now I do need both of my brain cells to focus on it. And here we are so far. That's what we've got so far. It's such a clever construction. So I've done very little, as you can see, but this is the bit that's taking more time for me. I'll get it. But this is scratching the itch for me to do some sort of lace work, because I had an urge to do that. And last week I was talking to you about doing, I keep saying that. last episode, I was talking to you about maybe doing the couture or something like that from Sari Nordland, just because I had the urge to do some lace work. So this is definitely scratching that itch for me. So yeah, I'm not sure when this pattern will be released. I believe that the deadline for the test knit is somewhere in mid-July. So I've got plenty of time to do this. But yeah, really nice. My partner loves it when I'm knitting on stuff like this in the evening, because he gets to watch whatever he wants on TV, because I don't want something that I have to concentrate on to watch. So he can watch whatever he wants, which is perfect, because the European Championships, the what's it called, the football thingamajiggy, like the World Cup but just in Europe, is on at the moment. So he gets to watch that with impunity. Yeah, because I really don't care about football, or soccer as you would call it in the US. It's not really my thing. I don't mind it, but I have no interest in watching it. So yeah. So this is going to be a beautiful shawl, and the colour that I'm using for this, or the yarn I'm using for this, is, surprise, surprise, another woolly knit cone. This time, but that is just adorable, isn't it? Such a beautiful colour. Yeah, this is Harvest Yellow, and I bought this with another project in mind, but when I saw the pattern, I thought this would be absolutely perfect. So again, I'm holding it double. So the way that I work with this is I wind off smaller, more manageable balls like that, and then I just do a centre pull, but holding it double with the outside as well. So it's much more manageable than knitting with two little balls jumping around, or one ball on a skein or whatever, because it means it's a little bit more portable too. But this is knit on, where is my needle? 3.75mm needles, so a US 5. And yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I think I'm going to enjoy picking this up and just working on it slowly over the next month. I don't want to rush through this at all. I really enjoy working on that. Okay, that's that. And then I have, what else do I have? Oh, yes. I wanted to do something that was just for me. So I've been doing quite a lot of test knits recently, which is pretty normal for me. I've usually got at least one test knit on the go. But I wanted to knit something that was just for me, and something from Stash, and something that I haven't. So when I first sort of came back to knitting, I bought quite a lot of patterns without really understanding the differences in construction, or the differences in difficulty, that kind of thing. So I bought a pattern from Cardigan called the Home Camisole, and tried to knit that, and I just didn't get my gauge right, didn't get the size right. It was just a bit of a disaster, to be honest. But I love the pattern. If I put a picture up here, it's beautiful. It's so elegant and so gentle looking. So the sample that you can see there is knit in Cardiff Cashmere DK, I believe. And I would like to knit it in that one day, but I wanted to make a summer top. So I went for some BC Garn Lino that I picked up from my local yarn shop in colour 41, grape. It's blowing out a little bit. You get the idea. It does not go with my nail varnish. And this is just 100% linen, I think. Yeah, 100% linen. And it is what it is. It's a little bit hard, it's a little bit stringy, but the more you wear it, the more you work with it, the softer it gets. It is worth, in my opinion, it's worth the effort to knit with linen. I've knit a few garments over the years with linen and never been disappointed. It doesn't stretch as much as cotton. Yeah, I'm a big fan of knitting with linen. So yeah, I'm holding that double. Gosh, this is going to be quite difficult to show you. I'm holding it double to make the Home Camisole. Right, this is going to look like a horror show. But at least it doesn't look like bunting anymore. Up until yesterday morning, it looked like bunting. So So yes, there we go. It looks like just really, really, really not inappropriate, that's the wrong word, but not useful swimwear. I mean inappropriate in the sense of not fit for purpose. I mean, when you knit camisole type or strappy tank tops or whatever, they always look a little bit of a pudding until they come together at the end. So this particular one is knit in the same kind of or similar kind of construction to how most camisole tops are knitted. You start with one triangle, then you do another triangle, join them together, and then repeat for the back. And it looks like bunting, you know, the flags, until it all comes together. So I've been really busy over the last few days, like last week or so, and as I said, there's that football championship going on at the moment. So some friends we're all taking it in turns to host barbecues for the Germany matches, because Germany's the host nation for the whole competition. And obviously the vast majority of my friends are German. So we've been going to people's houses to watch football. And I thought, oh, this would be perfect to take. I know all my friends very well. They accept my weird knitting ways. I can just sit in a corner and knit and I'll be fine. No, Catherine cannot do this. So I got home and realised that I twisted the front. So when I was joining those two bits, I had to rip it back and redo it. So now it's in a public knitting state. Although it does look like an old tea towel, I am aware of this, or an old dishcloth. But this is exactly what I want. I would like something that isn't completely opaque. I plan to layer it. I've got lots of very thin black plain camisole vest tops that I don't really feel comfortable just wearing by themselves. So I want a little something to go over them in a nice colour. And so this is exactly fit for purpose. Once I've knit the body to a reasonable length, I will put the I-cord on here, which will pull it all together a little bit more. And weave all of these ends in. There's about 80 ends going on here, which will take a while. This is knit on, what is it here? I think it's 4mm. Yeah, 4mm, so a US 6 needles. So I don't think it should take too long. I think I might sort of have this as a handbag project at some point. But yeah, that will be plodding away nicely whilst I'm doing other projects. And it's just a nice bit of easy stockinette now. And I'm happy with the fit. I tried it on yesterday after I joined all of the bits of bunting. And I'm happy with it so far. I mean, with this pattern, the I-cord does cinch it in quite a lot. So my recommendation would be to knit with kind of 2 centimetres of ease in mind for the pattern. And then you should be about right. You should be about right, because it is a very straight pattern. So if you're smaller here than you are around your waist or your hips or whatever, you're going to end up with a garment, if you go with the bigger size, that's very gapey around here. So I would recommend when you're knitting a camisole is to take, as a lot of people were suggesting after previous videos, this upper bust measurement here. Put in some stitch markers under the arms when you join. Try it on once you get past your bust, and then you can add on some increases either side of your markers or underneath the arms if you need it. Also, if you need to accommodate your hips or whatever, as I often do, I am quite pear-shaped. You could even do a split hem. So where you've put the stitch marker in on the side, cast off a stitch there and just keep knitting the back, and then go back to put the front stitches on hold, and then go and knit the front as well. If you want more information about that, I'm trying to think if I've got any Ravelry notes on that. I'm not sure if I've made I only started using Ravelry a couple of years ago. Before then I was just knitting for myself and not really making notes and just, you know, flying by the seat of my pants. So I'm not sure if it's in there. But, oh, one of the patterns that I test knit for Bluebird Pine Shop, the Costa, no, not the Costa tank. Which one was it? Cloud Tea. That's got a really nice split hem. So I would probably, yeah, I'll link that down below as well. So if you're interested in putting in a split hem in any patterns that are using less forgiving yarn, so something that's sort of plant-based that doesn't stretch as much as wool, and you're looking to accommodate, you know, your hip measurement or whatever, that might be something to think about. Okay, where were we? WIPs. Have I done all of my WIPs? No, there's one more. My handbag project. I'm not knitting socks. I'm knitting a Musselburgh. So this is, oh, that's so adorable. It's so nice. This is, I'd say, half a Musselburgh. So a Musselburgh, you knit a tube that's the same at this end and the other end, and you put one end inside the other. I'm sure you will have seen it. It's a very, very popular pattern. It's the ranunculus of hats. Most people have either seen it or made it. This is a gift knit for somebody, just in case they're watching. I won't say who. And this is also in a plant fibre. This is in Regia or Regia sock wool. And this is a cotton colourway that's based on kiwi. So it's their Tutti Frutti range. And this is 72% cotton, 18% polyamide and 10% polyester. It's so silky, it's lovely. Really nice, and it's perfect because you can throw it in the washing machine and it'll be absolutely fine. And I'm loving the effect. I mean, it's not overtly kiwi. I did ask some people the other day what they thought it was. If I told them this was a fruit, what was it? Most people said avocado. How does that look like avocado? I don't know. But anyway, I'm enjoying knitting on it. It's very silky, and now I've got it to well beyond the increase stage. I'm just doing stockinette. If you haven't come across this pattern, it's very clever. You have to do a really fiddly, horrible little cast on up at the top. I use DPNs to do that, or this time actually I use the Addy Trios. I recommend using bamboo or wooden needles when you're doing the cast on for this, if you're not doing a crochet cast on, just because they're stickier. You have to deal with a very small amount of stitches when you start, and it is a little bit fiddly and a little bit sweary. I remember the first couple of times I made a Musselburgh, I think I gave up. I gave up and had to go back to it several times before I succeeded in the cast on, because it is a bit fiddly. I think I got my mum to cast one on for me as well in the very early days. Anyway, so yeah, it's very clever. You can knit this in pretty much any weight of yarn because there's a gauge table at the beginning, and after you've done your increases, so it is a paid for pattern, so I can't sort of give too much detail, but you do your gauge swatch based on that, and then it tells you how many increases you need to do, what length you need to do it, blah blah blah. So depending on what size it is, because I believe it goes from like a baby size, like newborn baby size, up to large adult, which is fantastic. I will do an episode at some point just talking about my favourite gift knitting patterns, and this is one of them. I love making these for people. I really enjoy it. And in my opinion, it's a really nice use of a special skein as well. And it's easier for people to look after than socks because you don't need to wash them so often. So if you're making something for a non-knitter, it's a bit mean, I think, to give them something, but as my friend Steffi calls them, murder socks, because I will murder her if she puts them in the washing machine. Oh God, that cracked me up when she said that. So yeah, it's a bit cruel to give a non-knitter something that they have to take special care of. But in a hat, it's a little bit different because, as I said, you don't need to wash it so often. So it's a little bit less responsibility for the receiver. Murder socks. So yeah, that's what I'm working on in my handbag project at the moment. And as you can see, I'm spending quite a lot of time on the train at the moment. Doing adulty things. Lucky me. Okay, so that is it for FOs and WIPs and so on at the moment, I think. So there's quite a few things going on. And I've got quite a few projects that require my attention at the moment. So I'm not really thinking about aspirational knitting or dream knitting or anything right now. Although you may remember a couple of episodes ago, I went to a yarn shop in Brussels and I picked up some absolutely delightful linen, silk and alpaca mix yarn in a pale pink colour, and it keeps circling around in my mind. It wants to be something. I really want to knit something with it. So I don't know, we'll see. I need to get these things done first. Focus. Okay, acquisitions. There are no acquisitions. Yeah, there's no acquisitions. I've been to yarn shops, I just haven't bought anything. Yeah, I've been to my knit night, which is my LYS, my local yarn shop. But yeah, I didn't buy anything. I suppose I did kind of buy a book. So in the last episode, I asked people to comment below with their favourite children's book, and I shared about my love of Moomins, which is where the name Made by Moomino comes from. You can play Spot the Moomin in the background because there's quite a few of them dotted around. There's one there, there's one over there, and yeah, anyway. And lots of people shared about their favourite books. Some of them I'd just never heard of. I think it's just every country has got their own sort of books that are traditional for children to pick up. Like I never read the Dr. Seuss books when I was a kid and things like that, which are quite sort of ubiquitous in other countries. But yeah, so many people commented and said, there's a Moomin sock book coming out. You should get this, you should get this. So I did, of course I did. I haven't got it yet because it's only just come out I think it's coming out on the 18th, and I'm filming on Monday the 17th of June. So it's coming out tomorrow, and it'll be posted from the UK. So I think I probably should get it maybe next week. But I'm so excited about it. I'll put a picture up here. It's got Moomin socks and there's charts, which I'm totally going to be using to make other things. Like, I don't know, I've got a colourwork jumper in my mind that's all of my favourite things. So maybe we'll have a Moomin motif followed by a puffin motif. I don't know, the possibilities are endless. But I also love that a couple of the designs in there are proper traditional, or what I think of anyway as traditional Nordic socks, but they incorporate a Moomin motif, which is just delightful. And I'm so excited to get this book. My first thought, I was talking to my mum about this, I can make this for such and such, I make this for such and such. And my mum was like, no, Catherine, just knit yourself a complete set. Stop knitting for other people and just knit yourself a complete set. I don't know, we'll see. I'll probably knit some for other people as well. We shall see. Speaking of which, I was wondering about maybe potentially doing a knit along or a make along if anyone is interested. So Emma at Eldenwood Craft has just started a make along, which is, I wrote it down, what is it? Last to the party, Mal, which was brilliant. And I'm going to enter my home camisole from Cadry as my entry to the last to the party, Mal. I thought that's a fantastic idea. And I was thinking about using up stash and using patterns that we've had for yonks, and enjoying what we already have rather than buying new things all of the time. And I was just wondering if anybody would be interested in some kind of make along on that theme. If you are, comment below. We shall see. I've never run a make along or a knit along or anything before. I think I could sort some prizes out and things. So yeah, let me know down below if you're interested. Which brings me nicely and smoothly onto my Giftaway. So Nancy Wheeler, who is a wonderful podcaster from the podcast Knits It Happy. I love watching her podcasts. She always calls it a giftaway rather than a giveaway to avoid the YouTube bots or the spamming bots that often turn up in chats. So yeah, I thought you know, I've been doing this for a few months now and I'm really enjoying it, and lots of people are kind enough to subscribe and like my videos and comment and so on. So I thought I'd do a little giftaway to say thank you for that, because I really appreciate it. I genuinely didn't expect more than my mum and a couple of friends to ever watch these videos. So it's just really lovely that people seem to be enjoying the content. So I thought I'd do a little giftaway and have as the prize any pattern of your choice. So you can choose something from Ravelry or Lovecraft or wherever you like to get your patterns from. We can sort it out. And in order to enter the giftaway, just comment below, say anything you want. Tell me if you'd like to do a knit along, ideas for what you would like me to talk about in a future podcast, what you're knitting on, anything you want. Tell me what's going on with you. What are you doing right now whilst watching? I imagine knitting, so that's a stupid question. But you know what I mean. Just tell me what's going on in your life if you want to. Or just say hi. So yeah, the rules are just comment below, tell me something, ask me something, and I will draw the winner before the next, well, just before the next episode, which I usually do an episode every 2 weeks, and I usually record on a Monday. So I'll you've got 2 weeks to enter, and the winner will be able to choose a pattern of their choice, and we will sort out sending it, or I will sort out sending it to them. Yeah. Simple as that. So there's nothing more to say about that. But I will just assume you've entered if you comment down below, unless you say that you don't want to enter. But please try and avoid using the word giveaway, because that seems to attract the bots. Also, just a reminder, I will announce the winner here on the video. I will not contact you via message. I will not answer one of your comments telling you that you've won. I will never ask you for money for sending you something or anything like that. I would never ask for bank details or anything. So please don't be lured into giving any of your details to any horrible spammers that lurk about on the internet. I will just announce it here in the video, and then we will correspond via email. So yeah, that's a giftaway. And I think that's about it. As I haven't really been anywhere or done anything the last couple of weeks, because I've been very busy with normal life and adulting duties, I thought I would just take you to my local yarn shop. So it's a little way away. It's about 8 kilometres away, 10 kilometres away, something like that. I have walked it once, and it took me, I think, about 3.5 hours to walk it. It's a lovely walk. I live on the edge of a city and I'm surrounded by fields and farmland and things. It's really nice to walk over there, but it is a long way, for me anyway. So I tend to walk over the fields, catch a bus and then catch a train, just a really short train ride for a couple of minutes. And yeah, so I went to my local yarn shop, so I thought I would take you with me. So the last few minutes of my episode today are just footage of my little journey over there, and then a short tour around my yarn shop. You don't see any people in the video, but trust me, there are 20 lovely, lovely women sitting in the yarn shop owner, Iris, in her garden at that moment, knitting and chatting and having a lovely time. And after I finished filming, I went and joined them. And yeah. Okay, it was lovely to spend time with you again today. Thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with me. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, have a really lovely week, and I'll see you again in a couple of weeks' time. Bye.